Mover Marketing AI is changing the game for moving companies with their innovative digital marketing solutions. I've been working with them on my SEO and website, and the results are incredible. My online presence has improved, making my site both visually appealing and highly visible to potential customers. But that's not all they do. Mover Marketing AI offers a full range of services, from engaging social media management to robust branding, advertising, and public relations. They help you build a strong, trustworthy brand. If you're ready to elevate your moving business, I highly recommend Mover Marketing AI. They've been a game changer for me, and they can be for you too. Thanks to Mover Marketing AI for sponsoring this episode and for their support.
Moving companies, you know referrals are the best leads, right? But communicating with customers, tracking progress, managing payouts, it's just overwhelming. That's why at Snowball, we do it all for you. And we're really good at it. In fact, in just a few months, the Snowball platform helped JK Moving generate over $200K in new revenue. We even helped New City Moving book 30 moves in a single month. If you have happy customers, we can get you referrals. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description to get the first 2 months on us.
Welcome back to another episode. My name is Mark Hershey, host of Movified and also owner of Salmon's Moving and Storage. Welcome to Movified Wednesdays. We have Stephen Reed here from Ready Rolls and from Big League Movers out in Memphis, Tennessee. Welcome, Stephen, to another Wednesday.
How's it going? Excited to be here.
It's going. I like it. We've got the blue shirts on today. We got our promotional shirts on. Make sure you're sporting Movified. Make sure you're sporting Ready Rolls. It's a great Wednesday. It's one of those like beautiful, crisp Vancouver sunny days as the winter season hits, and it's one of those days where you just want to be up in the mountain. When you look up and you see all the snow there, and you just want to be skiing all day and not sitting in an office. So, yeah, welcome. I am so jazzed to kind of touch base on diversification when it comes to owning a moving company. There are so many different avenues to go. Some guys go, I want to go into junk removal. I want to maybe go into cleaning. I maybe want to, just focus. And I went from just doing household moves to maybe office moves. Let's go more into warehousing. There's that. One of the things that I always come back and forth on is when it comes down to delivery services. And, when you get these contracts for furniture companies, they always want to hit you with the bottom dollar. I remember back in the day, we were doing deliveries and it was like each delivery was paying, I think it was like $55 a delivery. But if you did 12 deliveries that day, you were found out that most of those deliveries almost took 45 minutes to an hour to deliver. Even though you had the routing, you had the maps, by the time you paid your guys, and at that time, I think it was like, you're paying guys $15 and $20 an hour. So you're at a $45. You're only making like a $10 per delivery profit. That at the end of the day, the wear and tear on your trucks and the fuel consumption just wasn't worth it. You were just like, guys, like we have to do, 24 deliveries in a 10-hour period to make it worth it. There is, certain logistics and scheduling and routing and optimization that really needs to play a key role to make this effective. But you're doing it right now.
I am.
So can you walk us through like the first thought of, hey,
so
you can't just
how do I got this? No, I was waiting for the end of the question there. Sorry. So how I got started in this a little bit, is that kind of the question
well,
there?
That's okay.
The follow at the end? Maybe you paused outside on my headphones.
Yeah, because I mean,
what was the question?
I might have paused. You might have paused.
Yeah.
I think sometimes, like the main question is I'm a moving company that's looking to start a delivery service. Where, like the first initial thought when you guys are sitting down, whether it was a management team or yourself, what are the first key roles that you're writing down going, okay, like I want to start this delivery service. This is what we need to do to make sure it's executed effectively.
Yeah, yeah. So where I started and where I ended up on that is a completely different story. But on deliveries, it's a passion of mine as well, just like moving. Um, we started probably 9 years ago doing deliveries, and I would not have it any other way. I have learned so much. I've hurt my company learning it, right? But I've learned so much, and I guess there's a double-sided answer to that. It's what I've learned to set up or how I've set it up now. But deliveries, I got to state before you jump in it, and to anybody interested in it, I got to say, it is an entirely different workflow. It is a entirely different bill cycle. It is an entirely different pricing model. When you are going into it, make sure you go into it prepared and not just, hey, I got trucks, I got men, and y'all's peak season is Thanksgiving, Christmas, and tax time. That's perfect for me. Because when you do that, you'll end up with a lot of challenges dealing with these 3PL companies. And just really, really think about this as a different business. Most of our work we do is paid right at the customer right then. Credit card, we might have to wait, 2 days on a weekend day to batch it, and we get cash. This is a completely different cash management system in final mile, white glove, and delivery. You have to be on your billing. You have to maximize accessorials like stair fees and stuff like that to these accounts. And you have to really bill and be a really fine-tuned billing machine and have a CRM that kind of audits for you. We use Dispatch Track. There's a couple of different ones, but we use Dispatch Track. But that's having that piece, having that office management, that readyrolls.com piece is the really, really key and how to set this up. And not just, I set up Ready Rolls in that manner because of the problems I had, but it is a completely different, it's a billing animal and an administrative animal. And a lot of moving companies fail at that, trying to jump in because we're not administratively strong before we get in there.
Hi, my name's Tim Krupp. I'm the owner of Krupp Moving and Storage in Worcester, Ohio. We also have branches in Akron, Ohio, and Columbus. I started my companies in 2005. In 2018, I heard about USA Home Listings, and I believe I was actually like one of their first people to actually like sign up for their program and started doing mailers, and it completely revolutionized my business. That year we saw a 40% increase. And all the way back then, we were only doing, prior to USA Home Listings, we were doing about $1 million a year. First year with USA, we were like 1.4, and I think that was 2018. 2022, we'll do just at right about $10 million. And USA Home Listings still remains our #1 marketing source. It outperforms everything else. So if you want to elevate your business to the next level, give USA Home Listings a call, get the free trial, get started today. What are you waiting for?
Okay, so, when we look at the type of software that's out there and we're looking at CRM systems that we would use, there must be unique different software that you can use for deliveries as opposed to, a Smart Moving or Super Move or Movegistics. Are you using one of those softwares? Are you using something totally different? How does that work?
Yeah, I'm using something completely different. There's no other way in that. We use Dispatch Track. It does not do much warehousing, but there's not better routing software, and that's where my money's at. Our warehouse is pretty strong. Shout out to Randall and Big Rod, Jimmy. But we don't have much hidden product or anything else, so we're moving big, bulky stuff. We're pretty secure, but we spend it on the software. That routing is where you make your money. Something being close to each other and finding things. It texts our customers. We put where we want to go and where we're willing to go on different days, and it automatically schedules things for us. So Dispatch Track is strong on that side. Like that is a strong recommendation.
Nice.
Or Grasshopper, I hear good things. Or another one called Dolly, I believe, is out there. And it's not that much. If you're running, they charge per truck, per route. So I think you're paying $70 a truck a month. Yeah, so it's pretty affordable, at least on dispatch trick side.
Sure.
But that's key. That's
You're
where
also probably
we have that additional software, and then we run it to QuickBooks. That's linked. But we're going through every delivery. We're managing every delivery. We're doing our photos through there of deliveries and checking. Our drivers are using that app. And that's really how we're also doing the billing and sending it to QuickBooks to bill to our account. So that's really, really key, is having that.
Okay, gotcha. You know, when we look at having now the system in place, so I have the routing software, I can, we can set up the easiest routes. You have reached out now to a bunch of logistic managers through like LinkedIn or through online. You found some businesses. How are you working out pricing? Like, how does that work? Obviously, pricing is going to be different in Memphis as it would be in New York, as it would be in LA. But what are your key factors that you look at going, okay, for this to be effective, I need to do XYZ on my numbers to make sure that I'm actually making a profit?
Yeah, that's the difference. You have to look at this completely different. This is a logistics company, and you're dealing with people that are pricing you and negotiating with you that have way more experience at every price that you ever thought of you have. Right? So they know what exactly it takes and what you need to be profitable at the margin to be healthy. And so they're negotiating from that aspect. So it's a little different. We negotiate in logistics. The way we look at it is, we got to get to $800 a day on a truck, right? We're not running a route without $800 a day and routes. And so we're negotiating those price points, and that's what they're negotiating too. They know you need $800 to make a healthy margin with the prices of boxes, gas, and everything. And I don't think I don't think New York and us are different. I'm always told that might be negotiation, right? But I'm always told, I don't know how, Stephen, but New York and LA and you guys are always the highest. But I think they probably tell that to everybody. Negotiation.
Well, we, when we look at it on our trucks, when we do delivery services, we also have that kind of minimum price, right? For it to be effective, makes sense. But at $800 for the day, is that like, what timeline is that like on the deliveries? An 8-hour day? Is it a 6-hour day?
So we run routes.
What happens if it turns into a 10-hour day?
10 to 12 hours.
Okay.
But we
so
pay a
10 to 12 hour run is okay. So that gets kind of going to my next thing. So do you tell the guys this is what you're going to get paid for the day, and you finish it in a certain amount of time? Great. If not, suck to be you kind of thing.
We pay a day rate. Yeah,
it is what it is. Or do they come to you saying, hey?
So we pay a day rate. So the driver gets a certain amount and the helper gets a certain amount, and they get accessorials with us. So when they report the stairs, when they report the little things and care about those little things that actually make the margin, we give them a bump on that. So they get a day rate. I know California can't do that and things of that nature. There's some states that can't, but we do that. And legally, have proven that we do it right on that side.
Yeah, and I think if you have I used to always have it with guys that would go out of town, right? And a lot of time it's window time. And you want to make it appealing for the drivers when they're on the road all day and they're going to do a 12-hour day. But in order to find that little bit of a loophole, you are charging out a flat rate. Okay, this is what you're taking. This is your day rate. This is what you're going to get paid. Everybody signs off on it. You have some sort of contract. I think you need some grease. Is this some Memphis squeakiness that's happening in the background there? Are you you're gonna have to put some grease on that door?
WD-40 fixes everything, right? I don't know if it does there in Canada, but WD-40, I noticed that too.
It does.
Sorry.
I'll send you a bottle.
Everything if you heard that too.
Oh, I totally did. It was loud. Okay.
That was not that heard in my ear. So this microphone's picking it up. Sorry.
No, that's fine. So,
Mhm.
when you're working out these factors and everything, you do the day rates, you have the contracts. How are you doing these contracts? You talk to a lawyer? Did you, chat GPT this type of contract? Did you kind of sit down and look at what you've done for existing deliveries? Do you ask somebody else for,
Contracts with our
a
contractors
copy of this?
are both. So
Yeah,
contract with our contractors, Meyerбach, Patrick Meyerбach, the moving attorney, wonderful, wonderful guy. He protected me on that side. As far as the logistics companies, our customers, that's a case by case basis. They pretty much have what they're willing to give, right? And
sure.
Patrick will try to
Yeah,
redline as much as possible for us, but they're pretty willing to give you the big account or not, at their terms. That's my always goal is I'll take them. I want volume. Volume's how you make money. Once you start getting multiple trucks, you start going in areas that are right in the same pocket. So you get a lot of deliveries in the same area, and that's when you make money, right? But I will take an account at their price. No, I mean I know our price, and I'll go in and see what the margin is, knowing that it's gonna be like a 12% margin. But I know my team, and I expect my team to do better than logistics. Man, where we're coming from moving, and you got a team that's focused on customer service and problem solving, it's easy to stand out in logistics. And then you can ask for a higher rate pretty quickly. You can get that to 20, 25. I think I have a call tomorrow with an account to price negotiate, and we're 60 weeks in a row on platinum on that side. So I'm excited to have that negotiation.
wow. How long did it take you to reach the larger numbers where you've started off and now you're like, okay, now I really feel that we're making a decent profit. The logistics side's taking off. You told me in the beginning there was definitely some trial and error about how you blended both companies together, and then you said, forget it. No, we're just going to separate this and have a separate entity. But when did you start noticing, okay, like things are taking off, things are working well, and how do you keep that managed when you're still looking for new accounts? Do you have someone other than Jason that is hunting down more and more and more accounts now that you kind of got figured out how to find them? Or do you, like, how does that work on that side of the team?
So I'll walk through the journey a little bit of how I kind of got into this at first. So I jumped in all in, went straight to 7 trucks a day in Atlanta. So I had Memphis and Atlanta, and I jumped into 7 complete trucks. Logistics wasn't from Atlanta, and decided traffic nightmare that is in Canada. You hear of the traffic in Atlanta, I'm sure, right? And
Sure.
went to the traffic nightmare and said, I'm going to do 80,000 cabinet deliveries in a year and accept this account and go blow this warehouse up. So I learned a lot. I learned a whole lot in that experience. And ended up having a Home Depot model branch where people were coming weekly to showcase our warehouse and things, but it was very tough and lost a lot of money to get there. And so I fortunately got to rebuild it in Memphis after what I've learned. So when I stepped and sold Atlanta to a logistics company there, I went in Memphis and I rebuilt on deck deliveries. I said, you know what? It's not going to be mixed. It's going to be on deck deliveries. And I got to rebuild my history and what I wanted to do in the network. Now, where I did it differently is I got that person who owns it, right? Like I talked about, as somebody who spiffs and they're on it. And I was waiting for a little while for that guy to be a performer. He wasn't comfortable. I didn't want to add any more to my plate. So he was happy with 2 or 3 trucks a day. Until finally I was like, you know what? I'm not happy with this. Like, let's grow this thing. We have an opportunity to grow this thing. So I built it slower the second time. I built it as a separate company. I built it with that main guy, and I kind of went on his pace to not have overflow on me. And now we're expanding. I actually brought back the guy who blew me up in Atlanta and got the accounts, Brian Cox. He's the guy I told you about with Meat Whiskey, but I brought him back on. He blew me out of the water in that Atlanta logistics time. And I brought him back and I said, now, hey, I've learned all that stuff you got me to build. I've learned. I'm still doing the same accounts, and here we are, 7, 8 trucks a day. He's coming back on board to expand it and grow our footprint there and fill up the 50,000 square foot warehouse. And I know he'll do it pretty quickly. So I'm excited to be there. But I did it baby steps because I didn't want it to affect the moneymaker. Right. I did it baby steps when I rebuilt it. I said, okay, I'm not, as long as this operator is comfortable and it's not spilling over, I'm happy with it. I didn't pressure it too much. Right. It was a little money, but I was happy with it to not have spillover. Right.
I want to kind of loop back over to this Jason person, right? Like in quotes, Jason, the guy who is going to manage this other part of the company. When you hired him, does he have shares within the LLC? Jason Haas, is that his name?
Yeah. No, he does not have shares. He has.
Okay.
Jason was that 2 truck gentleman, and I didn't have the accounts at first. So Jason was the guy running the 2 trucks, and I didn't have the accounts at first. And he went to an awesome go-get experience, got off the boat, right? Had a lot of money opportunity that I couldn't pay because it's just 2 or 3 trucks on deck, right? And he got off the boat and he said, Steve, the day that you can compete and have more trucks, because I believe in this thing, is the day I want to come back. And so don't forget about me. If there's an opportunity, I want it back. And as soon as we grew a couple accounts, I called him up because he did a great job. He did a 30-day notice. He did all the things right. And I was able to get him back on the boat. So Jason, he came to me, a really good friend of mine. I asked him to be on the delivery truck, and Jason kind of built it from there. He was one of the first drivers, and he managed the other driver, dispatch in the morning. And he was part of everything in the process. Just a great guy. Now he has.
So now you have the system in play.
You know, what? Yeah. You want to talk about now? What he does
what
now?
What would you tell? So, yeah. Well, now what does he do? Right now, as it's growing, like what's his position there?
So he has a warehouse team of 4. We're able to flex with drivers. We're able to flex when it's slow in warehouse too to put them as helpers, but we're able to flex as drivers. Now we're running 8 trucks, if that does math. 8 trucks a day, 7 days a week. All right. So
7 days a week.
4 warehouse guys are covering that. Yeah, the big play in my game in this is truck utilization. In the non-peak, all these contractors are using big league mover trucks. In the peak season of moving, right, all these guys are using Penske's, Enterprises, etc. So they're leasing my trucks in the non-peak, so I'm able to get a high truck utilization rate. And that's the name of the game. On that side is you're able to get a margin in moving and truck utilization when you get a number of trucks with the mix that is unheard of in the moving industry, right? So think about it, Mark. What options I have now is I can say, because there's other contractors out there. Yeah. Go ahead.
Let's take a step back here. You are building your team of 8 trucks. The trucks are owned by you, and you are getting owner operators that are interested in paying a percentage to utilize these trucks.
Yes.
Like, are they getting a percentage of these jobs? You said they're getting pay rates.
Some employee drivers. Yeah.
Okay.
So we got a little bit of mix on both, but yeah. So where I want my guys internally to rent from me, because that gives me a truck utilization, right? If that makes sense.
Sure.
And so in the off season,
but do they have the option of just using their own truck?
No, I'm not interested in that contract. I'm interested in that contractor not as a full-time, everyday contractor. I'm interested in mixing him in when our moving can sell more moves in the non-peak. Then I can get them to come in and do that route, and I can use that truck for a higher dollar amount.
Gotcha.
So so just like moving season, right? We just traded in 2 trucks, so we're at 22 currently. Going to go back to 24 when May comes, but there's no point in adding at this time of year. So just like that side, if in the summer, I only have to pay, I mean, I have 24 trucks to use, right? And I'm maxing out those trucks in the summer just like we do. And so in the winter, though, I only 18. Does that make sense?
What's happening here? No, for sure. It
Sorry,
totally
I
does.
think we had a little bit of
You know, when
delay.
you look at the, no, just a little bit. That's totally fine. I think it's going to clear itself up. Lastly, before we kind of, close up on this, because I think there's definitely a part two and a more elaborate scenario, because we kind of really touched on, the initial setup, where to find the people, how to have the right people in play. What type of metrics are you using to track the success rate of these deliveries?
Dispatch track. So dispatch track, our customers are reviewing right time live when they're signing paperwork, and we're texting them real time feedback. So we're really, really on top of our ready rolls. We have 2 dispatchers, just like in moving, that follow the trucks as soon as they leave, and they're doing the billing and have made Jason's life a lot work-life balance and able to grow. But they're checking the trucks. They're making sure our drivers don't leave a stop. If it's anything less than perfect delivery, our drivers can't leave a stop, or there's a dot to their pay without calling our ready rolls. So our ready rolls are seeing what can we do to make sure that gets off the truck, right? Is there any way, because the enemy is returning stuff. We don't want any, and that's what guys will do if we're not managing them, is they'll just bring stuff back. They'll avoid doing the 15 deliveries. Well, actually, that just cost you money. That took away from the 800. Well, you finding reasons to not deliver the product is not the goal. It brings the stuff back, right? So we make sure they call, they check in. Hey, is there anything we can do? Well, let me try to get the hold of the customer one more time, right? Can we put it to the side? Can you text us that? And they're making sure all the paperwork's correct, so we're going to get paid.
Right. Yeah, which is always becomes a problem too, right? You tell someone, here's your delivery time between 1 and 3, and you're closer to 3, but then they have to leave to maybe go pick up their kids from school, and no one's home, and then they want you to come back at 4, but you're already on to your next route. Like, there's all these sometimes logistic nightmares that have to go in, and I think as long as you are getting your T's crossed and your I's dotted, the actual logistics company will have to pay you for the attempt. What about when you talk to someone that says, I don't have a big enough warehouse to receive all of these products?
What's that?
Sorry. Right.
What do we do to receive all the products?
Carry on. So what is that step? No. What do you do when you have the attempt? What are some of the processes that you have to make sure they're fulfilled?
We take a picture of the mailbox. We take a picture of the door. Dispatch Track Live tells you that. They'll give you a delivery receipt where it kind of logs all that information, and Dispatch Track also gives you it's step by step. So the driver gets to a stop and he's ready for the next stop and he completes it. It'll say, are you ready to text the next customer your GPS estimated time from where you're at? And then when you get there, right, you did a pre-call, it already noted. You take a picture of mailbox, you take a picture of front door, right? And it automatically gives you a delivery receipt, which our team will send for billing. And then we're getting a double delivery. That's right. We want that. Then we're getting another delivery for another day in that area.
Right.
But where you lose money is you don't do that and you come back with half routes. Right.
Well, exactly. Lastly, let's talk about the warehousing aspect of it, because a lot of times, if I'm going to deal with a third-party logistics company, they're going to come in with a shipment. We're going to have to house that shipment, set up the coordinates. I mean, there's other ones where your drivers are heading to the different warehouse depots, getting those orders, picking it up, doing the deliveries. Yep. But a lot of the times, to be as effective as possible, these shipments are coming to your warehouse so that you can have the route set up, the organization, especially if you have 5 or 6 going on. What would you tell someone if they do not have that warehouse space? What should they be doing?
Only work with people off dock. So if you're in a nice city where there's a regional hub, like a Williams-Sonoma or an Ashley's distributor. Those are good. That's where I learned. I was blessed. Scott Young taught me, and I learned on Williams-Sonoma's dock, Pottery Barn. And so I was able to go to their warehouse, learn their process, and load my trucks and get paid from them to fill in days. So those are, if you're in a city that has a distribution center, we have Pottery Barn, Williams-Sonoma here. We have a DSG, which is a big Ashley's pusher over here. We have a company called Sarah Sells. Those are the big things to get your feet wet on somebody else's dime and learn. You know what? You don't have to go for 800 a truck. You're more going for like a 700 range because you don't have a space to have to lease, right? And so those are real good.
Right.
Don't just look at them as like, how much am I doing? Those are really good learning experiences if you're in this industry. You'll be using their dispatch track. You'll be using their dock. They'll have all their stuff ready for you when you get there. So that's a really good point to get into this. That's how I got into this, is I was running trucks all over the Southeast for Pottery Barn.
Yeah, I like that. And, you know, once you start building those established relationships, to go and visit how they handle their deliveries is key. I learned a lot when I was working with staging companies and the variety of them, from some being like a complete like shit show with 1,000 square foot warehouse, you know, to a large one that had like 10 or 20,000 square feet, and everything was very well organized, and it was just like a nice flow. And you kind of pick apart of going like, this is what needs to be done. This is how to fix things. This works. This doesn't. So, you know, why reinvent the wheel if you can learn from others and make it better. This has been great, Stephen.
Relationships with contractors,
really...
other contractors. That's key. And as you scale and grow, that's key. Is meeting those guys on that dock. That's a really good suggestion, Mark. Thanks for bringing that up.
No, for sure. This has been great. You know, and we do apologize if some of the audio was a little bit back and forth. I feel like something was kind of going on today where it was a little bit delayed, but I really hope we hit the main points. Please make sure you guys are commenting and letting us know what more you want to learn about when it comes to delivery services, so we can hit those. We kind of gave it a very broad answer from start to finish, but we really just wanted to touch base on some of the effective pieces that you're going to need to have in play to get into the logistics game, because it is not easy, and you don't really want to shit the bed on them. Don't do it if you're not ready. For all those listeners, stay Movified, everybody, and happy Wednesday.
Thank you for listening.